porn!
Atlanta. Hotlanta. The Big Peach. Or for the truly imaginative, El Piche Grande. Might also be known as basically the South's New York City with more humidity and less subway. See, each year, I, along with a half dozen or so of my closest friends, descend onto this little slice of Southern metropolitan hospitality for the annual Dragon Con event. And each year since 2017, I have absolutely longed to spend an evening at Trader Vic's in the Atlanta Hilton. It's an oasis of Pacific dreams, oddly located nowhere near the Pacific. This year, we finally made that happen. Today, we invite you to pull up a chair at the table and share a meal with us at the world-famous Trader Vic's Atlanta as we explore the history of this legendary tiki joint, its amazing rise to the top of pseudo-Polynesian culture, and its dramatic downfall. Join us today as we do just a little exploring. When you think of tropical getaways, Oakland, California is probably the last place on your mind. But Victor Jules Bergeron, in a moment of what must have been rum-induced inspiration, decided to turn Hinky Dinks, his drab saloon that was at one point themed as a Northwestern lodge, into a Polynesian paradise. Enter Trader Vic's in 1937. Let's set the record straight. If Trader Vic's was aiming for an authentic Polynesian experience, it missed the mark by about the same distance as Oakland is from Tahiti. It is to genuine Polynesian culture what fortune cookies are to Chinese traditions. Fun, frivolous, and thoroughly American. After some apparently enlightening jaunts to Cuba and Hawaii, because those two places are practically identical, Bergeron had an epiphany. Let's bring Polynesia to Oakland. And boy, did he ever. Handpicking bits and pieces from across the Pacific. Yeah, a tiki statue here. Some bamboo decor over there. Soon, Bergeron's Polynesian joint was as authentic as a vegan steak. But boy, it had flair.
I think it has flair.
Let's take a quick pause and have a bit of backstory, a little exposition, if you will. Victor went to college in San Francisco, although I'm guessing he probably didn't major in tiki studies. With the grand sum of $500 in his pocket, which was, probably like hitting the lottery back in the day, he opened Hinky Dinks in Oakland. But that saloon slowly transformed into the tropical fever dream, and voila, Trader Vic's as we know it was born.
Born.
And then, in a moment that probably felt like destiny at the time, Edward Carlson, a bigwig at Western Hotels, nudged Bergeron to franchise and sprinkle the Trader Vic's magic elsewhere, starting in the tropical locale of Seattle, Washington.
Seattle!
Money talks, though, and Bergeron, not quite swimming in pools of cash at this point, got cozy with Hilton Hotels. And the Hiltons, seeing the dollar signs in those tropical cocktails, jumped in, launching more Trader Vic's across their entire empire. Pretty soon, Trader Vic's was the name on everyone's lips, often slurred thanks to those Mai Tais. And at the height of the tiki fad in the 1950s and 60s, Trader Vic's was the place to be, leading the entire pack in the themed restaurant rat race, competing directly with the other tiki giant of the day, Los Angeles-based Don the Beachcomber.
Ready, boys and girls, because here's where it gets good.
Arguably, the most heated debate in the tiki community, and yes, that is a thing, revolves around the Mai Tai. Who birthed this legendary concoction? Was it Bergeron or was it Don the Beachcomber? One might argue that nothing encapsulates the essence of tiki culture better than two Americans bickering over a cocktail. For those who, like me, may not be up on your spirited beverages, let's talk about the Mai Tai for a second, shall we?
Where's the rum? Get the rum, make a cocktail.
And the Mai Tai? Well, it's the epitome of tropical sophistication. Imagine that somebody took the essence of a tropical vacation and then they blended it with the confusion of a midlife crisis, and then poured the whole damn thing into a glass. Well, you've got a mix of rum, of course, sometimes two, because really, why not? A little bit of lime juice, a dash of simple syrup, and a whole bunch of orange liqueur. Then you top it all off with a questionable-looking sprig of mint, and voila, there you have it. And, while it's hailed as a Polynesian classic, it should be pointed out that the only thing authentically Polynesian about it is the argument between the two Californians over who invented it first, because really nothing says authentic island experience like a Tiki cocktail feud in the middle of the mainland.
I'll fight you for it.
Well, as our dashing group has the collective tolerance of a goldfish, we naturally gravitated towards the Trader Vic's list of mocktails, because really, who needs alcohol to pretend that they're fun? Tampa Jay, in a brave move, went for the Trader's Fruit Punch, which is a mishmash of pretty much every juice that they could find in the kitchen. Adam, not to be outdone, ordered the Mai Tai, because really, why enjoy a classic when you could have a diet version? And as for me, well, I sipped on the Puerto Principe. It's essentially a pina colada without the fun parts. All of our beverages were served in those over-the-top tiki mugs or those classic tumblers, making them really the most Instagrammable non-boozy drinks ever. And surprise, surprise, they even tasted good too. Cheers! I guess. Let's get back to the story. During the groovy 1950s and 60s, if you hadn't swung by Trader Vic's, were you even living? Every visit was a luau. It was a heavily choreographed and not quite authentic luau, but it was a luau nonetheless. Really, who cares if their version of Polynesian culture was about as genuine as a $3 bill? Look, here's the thing. They had rum. They had lots and lots of rum.
That's good enough for me.
As the saying goes, what goes up must come down. And as the 21st century dawned and cultural sensitivity became a tad more en vogue, people began raising eyebrows at Trader Vic's melting pot approach. Combining generally non-compatible Pacific Islander traditions into a one-size-fits-all Polynesian experience was suddenly not so chic. Now, some labeled it cultural appropriation and others just a well-intentioned homage. But no matter where you stood, one thing was abundantly clear. Trader Vic's had made Tiki mainstream, and with that fame came the inevitable backlash. It was as if Trader Vic's had a hangover realization. Perhaps it's time to genuinely understand these cultures we've been toasting to. Time for dinner. Trader Vic's seems to have approached its menu with the audacity of a suburban teen who just discovered K-pop and sushi rolls. It's a heady mix of Asian intrigue and American predictability. Well, there's the buffalo cauliflower, which is apparently having a bit of an identity crisis, wavering in between sweet and spicy. And let me tell you, we're here for it. And then there's the fried rice, because what's more adventurous than a bowl of rice that's been around in the hearts of Americans longer than most of our grandparents? But here's the thing, they really actually nail it. And their ribs. The ribs decided to go on a tropical retreat, and they came back all fruity and spicy. And honestly, it's kind of a vibe. But the real drama queen? These Chinese stone ovens. Not only do they give a smoky je ne sais quoi to all the dishes, but they also conveniently perfume the streets of Atlanta, making the whole city smell like a Trader Vic commercial. Where were we? Oh, yes. By the turn of the millennium, Trader Vic's, which was once the crowning jewel of America's dining scene, began facing the music. The landscape of American dining was evolving. The fascination with far-off exotic places was overshadowed by an emphasis on authenticity. People began to crave the real deal and not some theatrical rendition of it. And that spelled trouble for our beloved Tiki Titan. And as if that wasn't enough, economic downturns further dampened the spirits. As consumers felt the pinch, splurging on pseudo-tropical escapades lost its appeal. And let's be frank, holding on to premium real estate, that didn't help either. As revenues dipped, maintaining a posh downtown spot suddenly became a bit of an albatross around the brand's neck. Somewhat oddly, despite its struggles in the US, Trader Vic's continues to thrive overseas, because nothing really sells quite like an American nostalgic take on another culture, especially when it's continents away. And as for Trader Vic's Atlanta, where to begin? Opening its doors in the kaleidoscopic world of 1976, this basement haven instantly carved its niche. Dedicated to the original Trader Vic's vibe, whatever that means, it's like a museum exhibit on how to do Tiki the old-fashioned way. And yet, like any aging star, it has faced its challenges. From recessions to the ever-fickle nature of dining trends, it's weathered many a storm. Yet still, through sheer stubbornness or perhaps the undying love for the Mai Tai, it continues to endure. Having appeared in TV shows and films, it seems like Hollywood just can't get enough of this dimly lit kitschy allure. Sure, this is a Polynesian Disneyland that Walt never designed, but the Tiki culture itself, it was real and has since spawned a legion of wannabes. And here, nestled in the basement of a bustling convention hotel in one of America's largest cities, this place, it's an ode to a time gone by. As much as I get why its peers have vanished in a cloud of cultural reflection, there's something undeniably enchanting about this mid-century marvel. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's little getaway to the not quite tropics of Trader Vic's, and I hope that you'll join us again next time when we do just a little more exploring.